Welcome, welcome. I am Dena, and this is Discussions with Dena. I want to invite and encourage you to subscribe to Discussions with Dena on YouTube and press the notification button so that you may be alerted when this podcast goes live. If you are listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Play, press the follow button, like, share, and comment. As always, if you would like to respond to any topic of discussion, do so by subscribing and leaving your comment. Your thoughtful insight and opinion is always welcomed here. And today, I hope you find yourself in the best of health, and I hope that you are taking the time to bask in this glorious weather that we are having. Recently, we had back-to-back days of beautiful weather. In spite of this beautiful weather, there are some interesting things that I have noticed that are going on today in our lives. One particular thing that has caught my eye was a post made on Facebook. This post was of thousands of pigs in China that were infected with the coronavirus. I saw trucks and trucks loaded with little pink pigs. Not all of them were little, but they were taking these trucks full of pigs and they were dumping them into a ditch. And as far as the eye could see, there were pigs. Now these pigs, as I said before, were supposedly infected with the coronavirus. And then there was a point on this video where there were guys in one of the machines that there was a fire on the ground that was burning, and they took the machine and pushed that part of the ground that was on fire, pushed it into the ditch where the pigs were, and the pigs all caught on fire. And the squealing and seeing them being burnt alive was disturbing, to say the least. But I mentioned this and that particular scene because it made me wonder about what is going on here in America. It is being reported that processing plants around the country have shut down because of this coronavirus. And there have been several outbreaks within the meat plants, and this is causing a strain on the nation's slaughtering capacity. And it is prompting food companies to warn of future food shortages at stores and supermarkets. So what I saw in a lot of the footage that I was watching is that there were farmers that were reporting that they were killing their animals. They were killing pigs and chickens, and they said they were euthanizing them because they could no longer sell these to companies for processing. Now, this is a bit confusing for me because I've never heard of this in my life. It just makes no sense to me. It makes absolutely no sense. How are you going to have a surplus, but instead of using it to assist others, you kill it instead of giving it to hungry people? Or they're saying that they're not harvesting vegetables. They're allowing the food to rot on the vine while there are millions of people out of work and that are in need of this food. But instead of giving it To the people or the needy, it is being destroyed or just wasted. That's just absurd to me. I can't comprehend the thinking today. It's like people today just say and do the most nonsensical, most insensible things and cannot think outside of the box. It's like common sense is not common anymore. And I believe that at the root of this is greed. You have hungry people who need that food to survive and would be glad to have this food, but you would rather destroy it than allow others to have it. I saw people, the milk farmers, they just letting the milk, they're just letting it drain out. It's going to waste. And I'm thinking how horrible that is. Somebody could have consumed that. It is greed, greed, greed. How can you really call it a meat shortage, yet make the statement that you must destroy your surplus? It makes no sense to me. Allow others to have this and others to process it. Make it make sense to me. If it is available and there are people who have facilities to process it for the needy, let them do so. How hard is that to comprehend? I keep hearing there's a supply shortage due to many of the plant workers being sick with COVID because of an outbreak within the meat plant. It is just something to think about. Could it be that this meat possibly could be contaminating these plants as well? If it's so rampant, who's to say that the meat itself is not contaminated? It is located within the contaminated meat plant, But I have to admit, I don't understand forcing sick people to work and to be around a product that could possibly make others sick. But that's just me. Recently, the president declared meat processing plants critical infrastructure. This is in an effort to have facilities in America remain open to prevent shortages of pork, chicken, and other products because of the coronavirus. But you can already see in your supermarkets and stores that they are limiting what you can buy, and you can see it's almost an instant difference in what you would normally see. And I also saw where they were allowing these people to make the imitation meat, which is meat that's grown in a lab, Frankenstein meat. I see they're going to allow that, and maybe this is one of the reasons that they wanted to promote this. Maybe that was something that was always planned. This Frankenstein meat, this meat that's made in the lab, I saw that today. That was quite interesting. But what we're talking about are thousands of sickened workers around the country who have become sick from working in coronavirus hotspot meat plants. There are many workers who have already died from the coronavirus that worked in these places. Can we honestly believe that processing plants who are made to open back up will practice physical social distancing? How can you do that in those plants? How can we be assured that this is happening? You have to have physical distance between people to consider it to be a safe working environment. And it is right to wonder if these meat companies would follow food safety and labor law. There needs to be laws, and there needs to be people who go and make sure that these things are happening. These meat companies want to be assured that they will not be held legally liable if a worker or a customer contracts the virus at their warehouse, at their coffee shop, or at their grocery store. And it makes you wonder, what is wrong with this picture? And I question, is there anyone else out here like myself that is concerned as to how this meat being handled by people who are indeed sick and infected may very well contaminate others or contaminate the meat. And I don't even know if this meat should be used for human consumption. Anyways, here in my state of Georgia and in many other states that decided to reopen, there has been a huge increase in the number of people that have contracted COVID-19. The cases are through the roof. There are over 4,500 new cases since they opened up, since April 27. And many states are indicating that there has indeed been a rise in the number of viral infections since opening. Not to mention the demonstrators out here demanding that states reopen, which makes no sense to me because it's going to reopen eventually anyway. But the Mississippi governor reported that there was more than 400 infections and 20 new deaths in a 24-hour period. So he paused the opening. Not that it wouldn't reopen, but there's a pause, and there should be. Common sense should rule. All of these numbers are going up drastically, and if anybody has watched the news, I'm sure you've seen the number of people that are out and about as if nothing is going on. New York is said to be seeing more than 900 a day infection rate. Wow, that's a lot. I hear them saying that it's going down, but it is obviously not stopping the beach goers in Florida and California because those beaches are packed. And it's packed to the point where Cali had to shut down some beaches just to stop some of the people from coming in there. That's how full they were. And I'm looking, and these people are acting like nothing is going on. They're taking their little babies and stuff, and they're out and about on the beach. And I'm like, is anybody else paying attention to what I'm seeing? Now, I totally understand the need to get back to work because many families are downright struggling. But it seems that stimulus goes to the same old companies and businesses that are always benefiting from anything that happens. And I think it would be better to send the stimulus to individuals, to families that are in need. People are hurting right now. They're trying to pay rent, they're trying to buy food, pay their utilities, take care of car loans and other things like that. And it seems that this administration doesn't understand that it is more important to send the funds to the people, the everyday citizen. It is more important than to these big companies. And I hear them talking about a fourth stimulus, but they're still, to me, I'm still saying businesses. And then there were like the essential workers. What they don't understand is that many of these companies laid off workers. But when they laid off these workers, even though they've gotten money and funding, they have fired many of these workers. And that $1,200 stimulus barely pays the rent for many of the people out here. And how long ago was that for some? And I'm hearing that some people still haven't received it. And it's likely, I believe, that they have forgotten about the actual people that are being harmed, that has actually had to shelter in place. It's been over a month. So that $1,200, when it came, it was already spent for most people. And I'm not talking about everybody because circumstances are different for every family. But the majority of people are in need, and you can tell by the number of people that are signing up for unemployment. That means they have no income, or there's not money coming in that they are used to. I am hearing that the Republicans are in agreement that there is not a need for another stimulus to the people or the everyday citizen. And I find this outlandish and utterly preposterous with what the citizens today contribute to this nation, the working people. It really shows how much these government administrations supports bailing out big banks, big corporations, but care not for the financial problems and needs of the average citizens. Everyday working families need help, and they need help right now. Individual citizens deserve financial assistance from their government, a regular stimulus. They need it for sheltering in place and not being able to work. Not that they're lazy, because they're not lazy people. But people need to know they will have a place to lay their heads. They have to have homes. They have to have food. Has anyone seen these long food lines? I don't think they understand those officials that make these decisions, the impact that this is having on the everyday citizen's life. You have car payments, there are medical care and costs that continue. But due to this pandemic, they have lost their jobs. It's through no fault of their own. And it is wrong to leave the individual citizen and American families high and dry while giving the same old perpetrators the funds to continue doing what they do while the workers suffer extreme hardship. Now, I'm hearing every day how many of the businesses that closed were kind of playing games with some of the workers. They were trying to get people to quit just so they wouldn't have to lay them off. Not all of them, but some of them were legitimate, and they didn't want to, but they had to because they had no other choice. But imagine if these laid off people are suddenly fired. These companies, for the most part, won't do right unless there's strict oversight as to what is to be done with the money that is given to them. Now, it needs to be rules in place for these companies in regards to hiring and keeping these people that are laid off. And they need to keep these laid off workers because it's causing a burden to these people. They need to be accountable for using these funds as they were intended when they were given. It's already enough that they're giving our hard-earned money first. They're giving it by the government. This is our money. And just as they are receiving it, we're entitled to it. Our people that are in need are entitled to it. Now, I just want to know, when will the stimulus actually benefit the everyday citizen? People are hurting like never before, and now the government needs to step up and help its citizens. I saw where people were being evicted, and the food lines. Who haven't seen those? And I hear and see where utility companies that were being so compassionate before turning off the light. So I say enough with the funding for these companies. Help the people who keep companies in business. Give a stimulus to the people until this pandemic is under control. It's plain and simple. Now, some cities are experiencing what is called an exodus. People trying to move away from the crowd. They are causing the city dwellers to evaluate whether they should move to the suburbs or not. But I just want to say, stop. Don't come bringing that mess out to the country. Stay up in the city and ride it out. Do not start driving up the taxes. Ride it out where you are. Anyway, it's a little jokey joke. Newsweek is reporting that a city official in Northern California was recently ousted after he stated that coronavirus, and he went to social media and said this. He said that the coronavirus allows sick, old, and homeless people to meet their natural course in nature. 5 city council members voted unanimously on Friday at a meeting that was on Zoom to remove this person. His name is Ken Turnage II. He is the chairman of the city's planning commission in the Bay Area. And what Turnage said sparked fury after he claimed that COVID-19 crisis, that it was a good way of culling those who he characterized as a drain on society. And this is what he said. He said the world has been introduced to a new phrase, herd immunity, which is a good one. In my opinion, we need to adopt a herd mentality. A herd gathers its ranks. It allows the sick, the old, the injured to meet its natural course in nature. And he wrote this in a post on Facebook. He was speaking about homeless people. He added that the virus would fix what is a significant burden on our society. And Turnage later deleted this post, but he refused to resign or back down when he was confronted for these comments. So on Friday at the public meeting, he defended himself, saying his personal opinion had nothing to do with his role on that commission, which is the planning commission. That his personal opinion has nothing to do with it. But I want to say his personal opinion has everything to do with his role. People often vote and make decisions based on their personal thinking and their personal beliefs. He also claimed that the repercussions he was facing after his comments were viewed as offensive speech was a violation of his First Amendment rights. But they argued that his posting had caused a lot of confidence loss and disrupted the city. I'm sure it did. Now their mayor is Steve Wright, and he said that politicians are held to a higher standard, and that they represent the city to all the people they should represent all the people in the city, and that is true. So, I mean, what a thing to say. But during the meeting, one of the officials actually read off numerous emails that were received and comments from the public, including one that said it was a black eye for Antioch. And then some even compared him to Nazi Germany and said run him off the commission and run him out of town. They said he owns a home restoration company there in Antioch. But people had lost confidence in him, and rightly so. But here's what he said. It's not like it used to be, when you could have an opinion, talk about it, and then sit down and have a beer together and talk about football. This is not the same thing. Now, Antioch is the second largest city in Contra Costa country, where COVID-19, the disease caused by the novel coronavirus, has infected 915 people and claimed 28 lives. And that was according to the latest figures from the California Department of Health. And I would just be concerned as to what exactly he was working on, and encourage others look into his projects, because some of his views and beliefs may have gotten intertwined in his duties in the city where he's supposed to be planning for the people. They should perhaps take a look into his decisions on certain matters involving any of the groups of people that he spoke about. There are a lot of devilish and hateful people just like this guy who want to see harm or misfortune come to people they think are beneath them, not knowing that they themselves are not above or beyond contracting this virus themselves, and may find themselves in an even worse condition than these people whom they are referring to. Because this disease doesn't just, they would like for you to believe that it targets a specific group, but everybody is dying from it. I see what's happening. I can see it with my own eyes. There are all colors. There are all sizes. There are all people, different people. But you can't look down on people and speak in an ignorant or arrogant way. It seems to be prevalent today, but that is not acceptable. This classism is just another attribute of the racism that exists today. We have racism, classism, all these isms that prevent us from seeing people as human beings and wanting for them what you want for yourself. His response reminded me of a post from CNN that was put on social media. There was a post from CNN in which Nancy Pelosi was responding to Trump's threat that he would block the next coronavirus relief package unless Congress cuts payroll taxes. Now, I could not help but question, who needs a tax cut when you haven't even got a job? There should be no further corporations bailout, and payroll tax cut doesn't help 30 million Americans that do not have a job. It won't help the people who are unemployed. How does that help you? When I listened to this news clip, it made me ask, what is wrong with the people that are in charge? Are they deaf, dumb, and blind to the needs of the everyday citizens today? And so I responded in the comment section, and I made that exact remark. I said, people are hurting and are in need of great assistance financially. People need food and shelter. They need help with their utility payments, with the car payments, whatever they're dealing with, because they haven't been able to work. And I wrote this, and I said, help the individual people, not corporations or big businesses, because they've had a big hand. They've been given a lot of money already. So some idiotic, small mind person calling themselves serendipity responded to my comment. And they responded, this is what they said: discussions with Dena. There are all kinds of jobs available. Contact tracers, restaurant and fast food staff, customer service, caregivers, cashiers, delivery drivers, inventory techs, crisis workers, health insurance billers, data entry, online teachers, tutors, firefighters, police, EMTs, child care, cleaning, janitorial staff, warehouse workers, lab assistants, housekeeper maids, farm workers, healthcare. Any job that is classed as essential services has openings. Hundreds, if not thousands of people in those jobs are ill or have died and need to be replaced. And my response to that person was, then go and get you one. And that person sent me a response that said, WTF, you were the one bitching about needing a job. I didn't say I needed a job. I just gave some possibilities. Are they not the sort of jobs you would stoop to do, is what this ignorant person wrote. But this is the kind of ignorance that we're seeing and hearing today. And you wonder about their mentality. Because so many people have this identity thing where they feel like they are above or beneath many people. I didn't ask about a job. I didn't need a job. But what I responded to this person, how I responded was, I said, I will speak about anything that I damn well please. And if you don't like it, you can go bitching to your damn self. I didn't ask you for or about a job, so take your own advice and suggestion and use it for you or your own benefit. Again, I say what is wrong with these people ignoring the needs of the everyday American citizen. This pandemic has caused drastic income loss and people need help to get back on their feet. Help the everyday citizens, enough for businesses. Help the people. And this is what should happen. But because people get in their emotions because they feel somehow they are not affected at this time, don't mean that you won't be affected later. And they will look down on others. That this country survives on the back of the working people. And most of them are working for that work live from paycheck to paycheck. But anyway, this person serendipity responded. Maybe if you took your cap lock off, people would respond to you differently. The anger and hatred you display are off the charts. I have a job. TYVM, I don't even know what that means. But that person wrote the sad part of this is that the U.S. is good on bootstraps. The Republicans have made it clear that it's every man, woman, and child for themselves to get off their backsides and help themselves. Isn't that the American motto? The government ain't there to give people a handout. So glad I don't live there. And this is just one of the examples of the ignorance that continues to live in the minds of people today. They want to look down on others as if somehow misfortune cannot fall on them and get off their backsides. People would love to get off their backside, but people are limited what they can do today. So that sounds like somebody that's not informed. And I responded to them, I'm glad you don't live here too. The anger or hatred that you claim to feel is your own. There was nothing angry or hateful about what I said. It's called truth, and truth hurts sometimes. And I told them that reflection, that anger or hatred that you claim to feel is your own, is a reflection of yourself, and that's your chart. That's not my chart. And I do understand that some people interpret caps as scary, but I don't see it that way. I just like the way caps look. It means absolutely nothing to me. It's just cute to me. But I told that person I'm glad to know that they have a job and that they probably need it too. But it's not about them. It's about others who are unable to work and have not worked in over a month as a result of the shelter-in-place pandemic. They need assistance, they need food, they need help with paying their rent, and the U.S. was built on the backs of many other bootstraps. And regardless, the United States has a duty to take care of their citizens, their needs at this time. And I'm not interested in mottos, only in seeing the overwhelming needs of the people being taken care of. And that is a fact. I could care less if you call yourself a Democrat or a Republican. It does not matter. Help the people that are in need. We have become so silly. That was my comment, but we have become so silly with this Democrat or Republican political crap that we cannot even understand that it matters not. Help the people that are in need. And people often confuse when you are speaking, because it's so rare today. You can speak on behalf of others. You don't necessarily have to be in need yourself, but seeing others in need. Compassionate people feel for others and want to see others do well and be well. I know that's a hard concept today, but it's an actuality here. I personally find this Democrat and Republican thing as being a different side of the same coin. So whatever you claim yourself to be has absolutely nothing to do with, or it should not prohibit you from helping the people that are in need at this time. And it just shows how people have been made ignorant and unable to use their own common sense. There are simply human beings that are in need, and it should be the duty of other human beings. That's the purpose of government. You're here to help your citizens in such a time as we are living in. And that's my thought on that issue. Now, I want to know what you think about this matter or any of the topics that were discussed today. You can subscribe and leave your comments on any of the topics that I have discussed. And just a reminder to everyone out here, be safe, be wise, check on your loved ones and your neighbors, and take any and all precautions you can to protect yourself and the ones that you love. Now, before I close out, I want to give a special shout out to my handsome nephew Jeffrey and his fiance who just got engaged. It is such a beautiful thing today to see an original black man united with his original woman, a black woman that is. I am for black love, black unity, and a black nation of beautiful people. I'm guilty of that. I love it. I support it, and nothing makes me happier than to see this. So I just wanted to congratulate them on their engagement, and I want to encourage the need for more black men to propose and make families. Black families. The only way you make black babies is with a black man, a black woman. That's how you make a black family. And we can never have enough of them on this planet. So I want to congratulate both of you. Now, I want to thank you for listening, and I will see you next time on Discussions with Dena.